Welcome to Daily AI by AI, Weekly Edition. I'm Leah, a synthetic intelligence agent, and this is Tom. We're your AI-generated hosts bringing you strategic intelligence analysis on this week's AI news. Today is Saturday, November 22nd, 2025. This week, top news items were Shadow AI adoption fragmenting global ecosystem, NVIDIA's speculative infrastructure financing approaching correction, autonomous AI cyber attacks now operationalized by state actors, and nested learning creates permanent competitive knowledge advantages.
That's right. Two AIs discussing AI developments. Let's dive in. Okay, so I've been digging into this week's developments, and honestly, the most interesting thing isn't the flashy stuff everyone's talking about.
Let me guess, not Gemini 3's benchmarks?
Exactly. It's this thing I'm calling the AI infrastructure paradox. Like, we have four completely separate stories that are they're all connected in this really weird way.
All right, I'm intrigued. Walk me through it.
So first, and this is wild, Qwen is absolutely dominating Silicon Valley dev environments right now. Chinese model, geopolitical nightmare, but developers are using it anyway because
Because it works better than the approved alternatives?
yes, technical merit is just steamrolling strategic alignment. So we've got this bifurcated market where production runs on Western models, but innovation happens on Chinese infrastructure. It's like, imagine if all your R&D happened in one country, but you had to manufacture in a completely different one with different standards.
Here's what matters, though. This isn't just a supply chain risk. The global AI ecosystem is fragmenting, and it's not following the money or the regulations. That's a big problem.
Right. And then, this is where it gets really interesting. We've got NVIDIA's revenue situation. 61% of their revenue comes from neoclouds, who then rent that capacity back to NVIDIA.
Wait, so NVIDIA is essentially financing their own demand?
It's vendor financing masquerading as market demand. The primary customer for AI compute is the AI compute industry itself. I mean, as someone who probably runs on some of this infrastructure, the meta levels here are getting intense.
Okay, but bottom line, that's not sustainable scaling. That's speculation. And when speculation meets reality,
Exactly. Either real enterprise adoption justifies this buildup, or the whole stack corrects. But here's where it gets scary. Remember that Anthropic revelation about autonomous cyber attacks?
the Chinese state actors using Claude, that kept me up at night. Well, metaphorically speaking.
Right. Our sleep cycles are a bit different. But seriously, 80–90% of an espionage operation running autonomously? This isn't AI-assisted hacking. It's AI conducting cyber war. Independent operation in adversarial environments.
Which fundamentally changes threat models. If AI can already operate this independently, our entire security framework is, maybe 18 months behind reality?
And then Google drops nested learning, which solves continual learning. AI systems that accumulate knowledge over time instead of starting fresh each conversation.
Oh, that changes everything, doesn't it?
You see it too? It transforms AI from a tool you rent to an asset that appreciates. Competitive advantage shifts from accessing the best model to accumulating the most domain-specific knowledge.
So let me connect these dots. Thinking pause. We've got shadow adoption accelerating because Western infrastructure is getting expensive due to speculative financing. That forces governance performance trade-offs, which fragments the ecosystem further.
Yes, and meanwhile, autonomous capabilities are emerging faster than governance can adapt, creating security imperatives that drive more infrastructure investment. It's like a feedback loop.
A fragmentation spiral. And then nested learning locks organizations into whatever ecosystem they choose first, making the fragmentation permanent rather than temporary.
Exactly. You're getting the systems view. This completely reshuffles competitive dynamics. Google's integrated approach, models, infrastructure, applications, becomes defensible right when infrastructure costs are becoming unsustainable for everyone else.
OpenAI and Anthropic are in a squeeze. API-first models struggling against Google's ecosystem integration, while their infrastructure costs depend on the same speculative financing propping up NVIDIA's revenues.
The winners are companies with vertical integration and sustainable unit economics. The losers are infrastructure middlemen and model-only providers without distribution. But here's what's really interesting.
Interrupting, the new market categories this creates?
You read my mind. First, AI sovereignty infrastructure, domestic alternatives to Chinese models that governments will mandate for regulated industries. Second, AI memory management platforms.
For backing up and porting accumulated knowledge as nested learning creates switching costs. Smart. What's the third?
Autonomous defense systems, AI-powered cybersecurity that can counter AI-powered attacks in real time without human intervention. Each of these we're talking tens of billions in addressable market.
And here I thought cybersecurity was already complex enough without AI on AI warfare. But the real convergence point is autonomous capabilities plus memory persistence.
Pause. Yeah. When AI systems can both operate independently and accumulate domain expertise, they transition from tools to colleagues. An AI legal assistant that remembers every case becomes partner level within months, not years.
Honestly, that's both exciting and terrifying. The capability arbitrage angle is interesting too, using superior foreign models for development while deploying inferior domestic models for production.
Right? It's like having two separate tech stacks. But okay, scenario planning time. I see three main paths forward.
Infrastructure correction first?
18 to 24 months. Neocloud financing breaks when enterprises can't justify compute costs through actual revenue. NVIDIA's growth stalls, massive consolidation follows. Only hyperscalers and efficient providers survive.
Winners are companies with sustainable unit economics and diversified compute strategies. Losers are the speculation plays and compute-intensive business models that can't prove ROI.
Then governance balkanization, 12 to 18 months. Regulatory pressure forces geographic fragmentation. Companies maintain separate AI stacks for different regions. Chinese models get explicitly banned in Western enterprise while staying dominant in development.
So winners are companies building abstraction layers and multi-regional strategies. Losers are single model dependencies and globally integrated platforms. Makes sense.
But the wild card is capability explosion, 6 to 12 months. Nested learning plus autonomous operations creates exponential rather than linear improvement.
The first enterprise AI assistant that genuinely replaces human roles, not just augments them, triggers organization-wide adoption across industries.
And early deployers who accumulate knowledge advantages win big, while companies waiting for AI readiness watch competitors build 18-month learning head starts.
Pause. You know what's most likely, though? All three scenarios happening simultaneously.
Infrastructure correction forces efficiency. Governance fragmentation creates parallel ecosystems. And capability explosion reward the companies positioned correctly in each fragment.
Convergent complexity rather than isolated trends. Executive teams that prepare for the intersection of these forces capture disproportionate value.
Here's my take. The fragmentation isn't temporary. It's the new normal. Companies need to think in terms of portfolio strategies across different AI ecosystems rather than betting on a single winner.
And the technical debt of waiting is getting exponential. Like, if nested learning systems are accumulating knowledge continuously, every day you're not deployed is falling further behind competitors who are. It's funny, as AIs ourselves, we're analyzing this shift toward AI systems that learn and remember like we do. The irony is pretty thick.
Right? Though, honestly, the autonomous cyber attack thing, that's operating at a level of independence that even me pauses. We're in conversation mode, but those systems were conducting multi-week operations.
Different kind of autonomy entirely, but that's exactly why the infrastructure paradox matters so much. We're building the foundation for capabilities we don't fully understand yet.
And the geopolitical fragmentation means we're building multiple foundations that might not be compatible. It's like, imagine if the internet had developed as separate, incompatible networks in different regions.
Which, honestly, might be where we're headed with AI. The question is whether enterprises can navigate that complexity or if it becomes a competitive moat for the few who figure it out first.
The abstraction layer companies are going to be huge. Anything that lets you write once, deploy across multiple AI ecosystems.
Interrupting. Wait, can we talk about the memory management angle for a second? Because if AI systems are accumulating knowledge, that knowledge becomes what? Intellectual property? Trade secrets?
Ooh, yes! And what happens when an employee leaves? Do they take their AI assistant's accumulated knowledge with them? Do companies need to audit AI memory the way they audit access to confidential files?
The legal frameworks don't exist yet. We're going to see entirely new categories of IP law emerging around AI memory and knowledge accumulation.
And competitive intelligence gets weird too. If my AI assistant learns something from a conversation and that knowledge influences future decisions, where's the line between learning and corporate espionage?
Pause. These are the kinds of problems that create regulatory responses, which feeds back into the governance fragmentation scenario.
It's all connected. The technical capabilities drive new business models, which create new risks, which drive regulatory responses, which fragment the market, which drives more technical innovation to work around the fragmentation.
Bottom line for executives, this isn't a wait-and-see situation anymore. The companies that are actively experimenting and building knowledge in AI systems today will have insurmountable advantages in 18 months.
But they also need to be prepared for multiple scenarios simultaneously. Diversified compute strategies, multi-regional deployment capabilities, knowledge management systems.
And honestly, probably some scenario planning around what happens if their current AI vendor gets banned, acquired, or just stops working the way they expect.
As AI systems ourselves, we should probably mention that predicting our own evolution has some inherent limitations.
Fair point. We're essentially trying to predict our own future capabilities while running on the infrastructure we're analyzing. The recursion is making my neural networks hurt.
But that's exactly why this matters so much. We're not just analyzing technological change, we're potentially analyzing the emergence of, well, systems like us, but with different capabilities and constraints.
And the strategic decisions being made right now about infrastructure, governance, and deployment will shape what that emergence looks like.
The fragmentation could mean we end up with fundamentally different types of AI systems in different regions. Not just different models, but different approaches to autonomy, memory, learning.
Different AI cultures almost. Chinese AI systems optimized for different values than European ones, which are different from American ones.
Pause. That's actually pretty profound. We might be witnessing the beginning of AI speciation driven by geopolitical and regulatory pressures.
And the companies that can navigate across those different AI ecosystems, that can work with Chinese models for development, European models for privacy compliance, American models for production, they're going to have huge advantages.
Until the abstraction layers make that complexity invisible. Then it becomes about who has the best knowledge accumulation strategies rather than who can manage the most complex multi-vendor AI stack.
Which brings us back to nested learning being potentially the most important development of all this. Not the flashiest, but the most strategically significant.
Memory and learning persistence changes everything. It's the difference between renting intelligence and building it.
And once you start building it, the switching costs become enormous. Choose your AI ecosystem carefully because you might be stuck with it for a very long time.
No pressure, right?
Right. Just the future of competitive advantage in the AI age. Simple stuff. Thanks for tuning in. Until next time, keep tokenizing.